And Nanny McPhee Returns is just that. The return of the world's most famous movie nanny since Mary Poppins.
Where are we? We're in the land of Pooh.
Starring in this sequel, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
No fighting in the house!
The person you need is Nanny McPhee.
Nanny McPhee?
Nanny McPhee. Nanny McPhee. Nanny McPhee. I am Nanny McPhee.
Emma Thompson returns to the role of the title character. She also co-wrote the film and helped cast
I'm in
it.
charge here, and I don't need some nanny to help.
I went to lunch at Emma's house when Peter was shooting an education in London, and I left with the script. You know, she kind of said, actually, she said to me, Mrs. Green should look exactly how you look right now.
Good evening, Mrs. Green.
Oh, you're it!
I think the thing that I particularly loved about it, aside from just it's so human and so respectful to kids and what's really happening with children, but what I loved about Mrs. Green was I actually think there's something very, very modern about having a mother in a movie who is totally overwhelmed, failing sometimes, flailing kind of all the time, and who at the same time is a good, loving mother and is the heroine of the movie.
Who are you?
I am Nanny McPhee. Small C, big P.
I think for a long time people thought you had to be able to do everything perfectly. And it's impossible, and that's the secret that nobody tells you. But this movie says that. This movie says to try to raise 5 children and run a farm and, work in a general store on the side and be single mommying is not possible without help.
Right. Thing is, I haven't hired a nanny. I don't need a nanny. I'm managing perfectly well. I have never had a nanny because I don't want a nanny.
I think parenting in general is very hard, and it will bring you to your knees. And it's also incredibly gratifying for the same reason, that it's just like a new territory for everybody. But I don't see that really very often, and I love that about this movie.
I am an army nanny, Mrs. Green. I have been deployed.
No. There must be some mistake. Everything's under control here. Wait for me. That's Cyril. He's not one of mine. He's their cousin.
You parasitic.
And that's Norman.
Hands off me!
He is mine.
Indeed.
Get off me!
Immediately.
Acting in this movie may seem like kids' play, but it was anything but that.
It's a children's movie, but Emma wrote, long, complicated scenes that require proper acting, and then, to be often the only grown-up in the scene with 5 kids and pigs and goats and elephants, some of them imaginary and some of them real. If something's supposed to fall on your head, you need to be standing where the thing's supposed to fall on your head when you say the line before it's supposed to fall on your head. And if you don't, if something goes wrong, you have to start over.
How are they managing? You must be exhausted. Do sit down. I'm making some tea.
It was incredibly technical, and at the same time, in order to work, had to be really free and really alive. So it was hard work,
They came up with all the arrangements for themselves.
And Maggie does the 2 things actors are never supposed to enjoy on a film set: work with kids and animals.
How on earth did you do it?
I'm afraid that's classified information, Mrs. Green. The Army is very strict.
It was great. I've worked with a lot of kids, actually. I feel like I don't believe that children are best when they're sort of little, professional, perfectly behaved actors. I think that kids work in movies when they're kids and when they seem like kids and when they're allowed to be free and allowed to do all the things that children really do. And so that's what we were after, and so Emma and I spent a lot of time on our knees behind the camera, making fart noises, or, Emma threw herself in a pond at one point.
I'm going this way, I'm sorry.
Because it's hard to be a kid on a movie set. It's a long day and it's intense.
Tea.
it.
Oh, you're not leaving us, are you?
Certainly not.
Mostly the animals were the kids for me. but I mean, it was great. I mean, it's like if the whole idea is to try and be as free and open and respond to what you're given, animals are going to force that on you, and they make everyone sort of feel alive. I mean, look at the stuff with the kids and the pigs, and the kids are actually truly delighted acting with those animals,